Hello, everyone. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Welcome to today's meetup session on From Idea to Impact Product Management in the Age of Generative AI. This event is hosted by Data Couch, and today we are honored to have our SME, Mr. Rishabh Dhingra, as our instructor for the session. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Rishabh Dhingra. He is a product manager at Google with over 13 years of experience in artificial intelligence, generative AI, data science, and data analytics. He excels in transforming ideas into reality through visionary leadership and collaboration with C level executives, leading high performance teams to deliver impactful ML AI products. Known for his ability to navigate ambiguity and drive operational efficiency, Rishabh enhances customer experience by fostering partnerships across diverse teams. We warmly welcome Rishabh and look forward to his insights today's during today's session. Before we begin, let me take a moment to introduce Data Couch. We are leaders in professional service delivery, specializing in generative AI, data engineering, cloud, blockchain, cybersecurity, agile, DevOps, data science based consulting, implementation, and training. Our offerings include consultancy, custom solution implementation, enablement services, and upskilling and training. In addition to our core offerings, we have a proprietary browser based virtual lab solution, and we also offer managed services for infrastructure and human capital to meet the unique requirements of organizations of all sizes and scale. We are excited to share that our global footprint has enabled us to transform the careers of over 200K plus professionals. Thanks to this growing community of learners, our expertise now spans cutting edge technologies like Web3, generative AI, big data, DevOps, and cloud, to name just a few, where we continue to push the boundaries of innovation. Highlighting our significant achievements, we have successfully partnered with Fortune 500 companies and global system integrators such as Infosys, Accenture, TCS, as well as tech giants like Apple, Google, and financial corporations like PayPal, Bank of America, and others. Driven by our commitment to community and knowledge sharing, we have established three specialized meetup groups: AI Minds, Generative AI User Group, and All Things Data. With a membership exceeding 25,000 plus, our community has participated in over 200 such sessions, covering more than 100 diverse technologies and tools. We are honored to announce that Confluent has recognized us as the only global education partner for the years 2022 and 2023. This recognition, received for the second consecutive year, underscores our leadership in providing cutting edge training and consultancy services on a global scale. Also, as the first training delivery partner for Starburst Data, One House, and Event Store, we are proud to forge and build upon strong partnerships with industry leaders. While some client names remain confidential, our collaborations include a global beverages and snacks multinational, a premier North American payment solutions provider, a cutting edge cybersecurity and risk management platform, and a retail giant with operations across 5 continents. Now, I would like to ask Rishabh to take over the session. Thank you, Rishabh, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here and having this opportunity to share uh, whatever I think I know in terms of product management and how generative AI is shaping the role of product management. Uh, One thing before I start, all the things that I'm going to share are my own personal views. Is not Nothing is being endorsed by anyone or any organization. So I just want to call that out. Uh, so, uh, all good to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Rishi.
Uh, so, what we will cover today, we're going to cover a bit about what a PM role is, and definitely how AI is changing the PM role. We'll cover three aspects where generative AI is playing a key role from a PM perspective. So if you think about PM role or any software that you're building, any data product or anything that you're building, you go through an ideation and validation phase. So we'll cover that, how what kind of uh, where generative AI is playing role there. That gets followed up by doing the development and prototyping, and then you launch your product, or you then after launch you iterate on the product, wherein you learn new things, or you take feedback from customers, or you learn when something is working, something is not working, or could be made better, and you iterate through the product. And that's also where generative AI play a role, right? uh, Now, what is product manager role? I would say, like, product manager role wears very different hats at different times. So think of a PM as a cat herder, right? But then instead of cats, you're actually herding engineers, designers, marketers, in many cases, legal teams, compliance, AI engineers, data teams, right? Talk of many different teams that get involved in launch building something and launching something, right? So then, as I said, it's herder, but instead of herding, you're actually building some cool products. So you see the image that I have on the right. It's actually generated by AI. So within the Google slide itself, you can use Gemini and think of whatever idea you have, and you can ask Gemini to help you build a slide, or even an image. So in this case, I had an idea. I gave it a prompt that, what a product manager is. I think this is what a product manager is, and I gave it a prompt, and this is the image it came out, which I think is pretty accurate. What I wanted to picturize as to what a PM does. Uh, it's a broader statement, but you can think of PM gets involved in many things, and I would say in every phase of the product, right from when you want to start thinking, right to delivering and then iterating on it. Let's look at formally what all gets is involved in the PM role. So, who's a PM? PM is, I always talk about, like, a PM needs to be very visionary, because you want to think of what a product could be, where you want the product to go. So you need to have that vision. This is where we are today. This is how my product strategy is going to look like, and that's the roadmap, right? A critical aspect of that is being curious as well. So PM should be very curious, generally in nature as well, uh, because that helps them gain a good understanding of the problem, the potential solutions you can come up with. So you need to have that constant influx of new information. Let's say now in generative AI, you need to have that. So you'll find out new use cases, industry changes that are happening. Uh, so it does make your life challenging as a PM, because you need to stay updated, but you need to also be very selective about the information that you're consuming. So being a visionary and also being curious. I would say these go pretty much hand in hand. And as you are like curious, you'll also try things like you'll do a hands-on, and you're in terms of AI, you'll observe how other people are using, right? The how other people are using AI. So for example, let's say some you notice a change in the behavior when someone uses Gemini mobile app. They started recording voice notes because it was easier than just typing and provided more information than using a regular bot or for the bot, right? In this case, you would see the user behavior is now changing because they are now using AI rather than just going. Let's say I'm creating a new calendar invite. Rather than going to a calendar and doing that, I'm just using Gemini now to do that. So now you see the behavior is changing. So I need to have that curiosity to understand what the new user behavior is going to look like. So being a visionary because you see where user behavior is going and having that curiosity to know how users are using it. I think that is critical for a product manager. Uh, Also needs to be a customer champion. When I say that, you are the voice of the customer as a PM. You understand their problems really well. You understand what they need. So in the example that I shared right now, uh, wouldn't it isn't it much easier if I just say to my phone that, hey, book a calendar invite for this PM, which it should be a recurring invite, rather than going to the calendar and configuring everything, right? So now I understand what the customer needs are, what helps them, what saves time for them. For example, if that's my metric that I'm trying to target. So think thinking from a customer lens or customer perspective is again a critical thing that a PM does. Next is you're also market analyst because you need to understand where the market is going. You need to understand trends, what kind of technologies are there now, what are users asking for. Sometimes there is a hype of something. You need to understand what is coming out. Is it a sustainable hype? Sustainable hype. Uh, let's say in case of data, there is a lot of I would say ask or demand for AI and BI coming together. Let's say you have any BI product, every customer is now asking for having AI within that, generative AI within that. So that's where the market is heading. So you need to understand where the market is heading, and be understand the competitive pressures also, because the pricing dynamics and what the customers would want in that pricing dynamics is something you need to understand. So you're also playing a role of a market analyst. And obviously, problem solver, because you are mapping a customer need, what the problem they are facing today, but it doesn't stop there. You have to solve it. As a PM, you need to understand the problem, you need to solve it as well, and how to solve it. So you need to think of how do I tackle these problems that the customer are facing in a way that is very easy for them, that makes their life easier, and sometimes you have to be very creative with your solutions that you come up with. Uh, right, so that's a critical skill set, I would say, or attribute of a product manager. Uh, a product manager works with many different teams. I did name a few like engineering. You have legal, you have compliance, you have program managers, and then you have uh, the launch teams, etc. You have marketing team, you have data team because you need to analyze data a lot, right? So when you're working with so many teams, it becomes challenging, right? You need to be very effective communicator that you're able to share and get everyone on board uh, to your success criteria, right? Because everyone works for their own success criteria. So you need to bring everyone together. So being a very effective communicator that you're able to communicate really well, so that you're getting things done, you're getting things moving, right? And it's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes people, I would say, underestimate how being an effective communicator and a good cross collaborator plays a big role in being a really good product manager, right? So it's a critical thing. Everything is data driven nowadays, so you are using data to understand market. You are using data to understand how customers are using your product. You're using data to understand where the opportunities are, your product performance, etc. Everything is driven by data. So you need to understand the data, have that capability that you're able to ask the right questions. You know what questions to ask. You know what kind of data will help you that answer those questions. Yes, you're not always getting that data yourself. You might be supported by data teams, but think of like smaller organizations which don't have uh, enough capacity that they have a dedicated data team to always help you. Yes, they do, they would have a data team to bring the data to you, but I think it doesn't hurt if a PM is also having some skill set to you know pull information from the data. So it could be like you have basic SQL skills, so you can write down some queries and pull data and just self-serve any kind of analytics that you need, or you are able to just quickly build dashboards. It could be a Google Sheet, it could be a Looker Studio dashboard, anything of that sort that you can quickly build at your for yourself and the teams to make driven decisions, right? So again, that's a critical part. Uh, Next would be agile leader. What that means is, you have to be very quick in your development process. You need to be iterative. People would have heard about being in Scrum or following the agile principles, etc. Now every organization follows it differently. They can have their own structure, but the critical thing is, or the crux is, you need to iterate on the feedback quickly and ensure your product is continuously being enhanced. And you are flexible with, if there's a bug that has come out which is critical, would you say, no, I have committed to a roadmap right now, I'm going to deliver this in the next sprint? No, you will adapt quickly. You'll be flexible and you'll deliver the fix first, which is critical for the part, and then work on the enhancement. So you are being agile in that case, being able to prioritize really well. If I say so. Last would be why behind the what. So you define the purpose and value of the product. Why are you building? I think that's a critical question that should come. And Some of the scenarios I've seen, like people missing that out. So we sometimes want to jump and build the solution, and we don't take a step back and think, okay, why I'm building this? What is the purpose? And in a lot of times, if you don't do that, you'll end up building something which is incorrect. When I say incorrect, it doesn't meet what the customer needs. It will not give you business, let's say revenue or whatever you target you are trying to achieve, or the business success, because you built something which is not delivering any value. So it's important to ask those questions really upfront as to what is the purpose behind building a product, what is the value it's going to give you, both from a business perspective but also from a customer perspective. Okay, I hope that gives a decent overview of a PM role. And as you can see, it's not an easy job. You wear multiple hats at different times, and you're playing all these different roles at different times. Okay, but then we had traditional PMs. When I say traditional PMs, traditional PM environment, because now every PM is going to adapt. If you're a good PM, you're going to adapt to the changing world, right? And the changing world is an AI world. So I wouldn't say there are traditional PMs and AI PMs. I would say there are traditional days when you were a PM, and now it's an AI days, AI well days. So now the AI is impacting every PM role. When I say impacting, it's not like it's taking away a job, but it's becoming a critical aspect of your job. How you use AI in your day to day, how you use AI to build products. I would say there are like different kind of roles within PM as well that touches AI. As I just created this meme again from using generative AI. You can see that where the website where I created it from. It's also a meme. Uh, so earlier, when you, as I was saying, traditional days of PM, let's say back in 2010, you were doing managing projects, people, products, right? But now you are doing everything in terms of one day you're data scientist, one day you're an AI expert, one day you're thinking about the vision, how I can bring AI into my product. You're driven by these new technologies, and AI has unlocked so much potential opportunities for PMs that you can't build a product without thinking, "Hey, how can I use AI in making things better?" Again, you have to think of not using AI just for the sake of it, but it has to solve problem. So now you're constantly bombarded with all these new technologies, new models as they are being released, new ways to incorporate or techniques or architecture into your product. So you have to be very, I would say, tech savvy and AI savvy now as a PM and be on constant top of it. That's how the role has changed. Uh, and think of like from a PM perspective within the AI space, you can either be a platform PM. When I say platform, you're actually building a platform which enables AI engineers to build on it, to leverage that to deploy. And it could be a machine learning engineer as well or a data scientist, right? But other aspect is you're actually building new models, building new techniques. That's another kind of PM. And the third would be you're actually applying AI in your product or using an existing technology, let's say Gemini, you use it through an API, you're bringing it into your product. That would be a third kind of PM who's more on the applied side. So these are different kind of, I would say, PM. And but you see, like in every role, AI is playing adding a huge benefit both from for the PM role and from the customer perspective, right? So I just what I think thought was like, okay, maybe we can try asking Notebook LM. Not sure if people have heard about Notebook LM, but let me try and open Notebook LM. So this is Notebook LM. It's a Google product. Basically, I call it as a mini RAG or easy to use RAG architecture. So what it helps is you can upload all the sources that you have to ask questions just like you would ask Gemini or GPT, right? But Gemini or GPT in general would ask questions from what they have learned, which is, let's say, if the cutoff date for GPT or Gemini was whatever it, or for GPT was like September 2023 or 2024, it'll have knowledge of the information only till then. But what if you want to bring new knowledge? What if you want to bring your old document, your PDF, your YouTube videos, anything of that sort, but still have that capability where you can ask question and get answers, right? So you're asking the similar questions just like you would do for any generative AI or LLM technique or model, but you're then doing it on your own data. So Notebook LM allows you to basically upload your own website, PDF, give a reference to your existing to an existing resource anywhere on the web. It could be an audio file, it could be a website link as well, and then you start getting insights from that, right? And when you get insights, see, as you can see here, it also tells you it has pulled in insights from where, what is the source. So I can have like five sources and it can tell you I picked this up from one of the source. Right? So it's a really good way to get summarized information. Let's say I have 18 articles and I want to summarize that. or get information from those 18 articles, I can put all of them in Notebook LM and get information. And one really cool thing I like about this is you can actually generate podcasts. I love podcasts. I love hearing podcasts, and I get a lot of my information from there. Uh, so I can put in all my sources. Think of it: you have a PDF book, you put a PDF book, and then you can generate a podcast out of it with like two people talking, and you can listen to it and get knowledge. So I thought maybe okay, let me try with Notebook LM to see how the role of PM has evolved with AI, right? How AI is changing. So I just picked like 4 to 5 articles. So you would see these are different sources that I picked. I also picked the YouTube video and website, and I thought, okay, let's now I have like 4 to 5 resources. Can I ask it? And you would see Notebook LM, I would get some suggested questions already. And this it has it's smart, it's understood the context, and it's saying, okay, maybe you want to start with all these questions or any of these questions to get you started. It says it's asking me one of the suggested questions is how will AI reshape PM strategic thinking. Let's ask that. Now, what it is going to do, it is going to look at the resources, and you would see it's now giving me the answer that I needed, but then it's also giving me resources. Like this was picked from link to, which is this one, and this was picked from a YouTube video, right? So I can ask how AI is changing the role of a product manager. Let's ask that. So the previous question I asked was very particular for strategic thinking and collaboration, but now I'm just focusing on general role. And see, it has used those resources, and now it has given me answers, right? So I see like this is really useful. And if you go to a notebook guide, you can actually generate a podcast out of it. It gives you a summary. You can actually create a FAQ study guide. You know, as a PM now, let's say I have a market analysis somewhere, maybe an agency has given me, or I have subscribed to something, or it's a public information. I can actually refer to these different things that I have done because I'm using information that is available in public to understand the market and start, building my market analysis. I can bring all of this together. I can start asking questions, and then I can generate a document out of it as well. Pretty cool, right? Now imagine the amount of time I've saved with the Notebook LM. So if you haven't tried, just give it a try. If you love podcasts, create some podcasts. Okay. Okay. So now we'll look at the first segment, which is how generative AI is being used for ideation and validation. So within ideation and validation, what are we doing? We are ideating on something. We're trying to understand what I'm trying to build. You're doing a brainstorming session. You are generating ideas. You're working with the team, and that's where you are. Uh, where you could use AI to generate ideas and be creative. Also use some tools for when you work with the team comes together, you work together for a collaborative ideation, and all that needs to all that can be facilitated with AI. So that's why I said it's AI powered brainstorming. uh, and also, we did discuss briefly about market research. So you are analyzing market trends and identifying opportunities. You're doing trend analysis. You're doing some predictive analytics. All of that just to understand the market. You can use. I don't know if people have heard about conversational analytics. It's chat with your data functionality within Looker, which is a Google product. So you can, as just like I was asking questions to Notebook LM, you can ask a similar kind of questions to your data. So imagine I have data which I pushed to Looker or the BigQuery tables or data sets. I can now start asking questions to that using conversational analytics. Um, if you haven't tried, just have a look. Now we are getting into the world of data agents, which is the next one. So definitely, data agents could be uh, leveraged here for trend analysis, market research as well. You're also gathering, analyzing user feedbacks, and so you are doing that ideation and seeing, okay, what users are saying, what needs to be done next. You are trying to understand what user needs are. Let's say there are some feedback or comments that user are pushing somewhere on the internet, YouTube or somewhere, right? And you're analyzing that, okay, this is what users are looking for. This is the problem that they are facing. And that's where user research and feedback comes in. And that could all be facilitated through uh, AI. And then you are validating your ideas with AI. So all that could be done. All this entire phase is where you can leverage AI. And maybe let's ask this as well to Notebook LM. I also had one of the data, one of the source where on the internet, which where I was just exploring. We can probably ask that. So the question was like, how PMs are using. Let's just copy this and try to see. Let's just ask him. Yeah, I love this product a lot. So it says that okay, PMs are using it for product iteration. It speeds up idea generation. You can do competitive analysis. You can do market research, and it also tells you what steps you can, do to integrate generative AI into this entire ideation and brainstorming process. So you can pick a Gen AI tool. You can define your goals and criteria. Uh, you can collaborate with your team, provide inputs, and then test and iterate. So see again from that resource I've used leverage notebook LM to get my information. Okay, maybe we can try something. So what I did, I also looked at uh, one of the tools. Let's say this is start up. It's not startup. It's a start up. Let's say if I'm starting a new business or I want to start a new product. You can go to startup.ai and I'm generating an idea now. So here you can say that, okay, I am looking for a startup idea in wearable technology. It's in the sports and fitness business. I want to make it as a subscription model. And my complexity of startup is like either 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months. That's what I want to generate. So based on that, it has generated some of the ideas that as you can see. Uh, One of the idea it has generated is, and that's where I'm brainstorming and doing ideation with using AI, right? That okay, it's asking me you can create a smart hydration tracker. It's going this is the problem statement or this is the product description it has given me, right? And I can ask it a follow up questions or I can generate solution as well for this, or I can even look at, okay, let's give me those startups. Let's say follow-up questions would be, who are the potential competitors? Uh, Now I'm doing a brainstorming, but with an AI now, right? So if you are thinking of coming up with new, I would say, startup ideas, new product, or you want to validate or do brainstorming, I mean, this is one of the tools that you could use to explore your idea. And if you want to do something else, so they have like basic mode, advanced mode here. So let's say generate another idea. That's one idea it has given me. Another idea it is coming up with a smart form coach, which says that okay, many athletes and fitness enthusiasts is monitoring their form. Okay, leading to injury. A promising startup idea would be a wearable technology that could be a smart fitness tracker and provide real-time feedback. So now you can think if you have something, you can brainstorm, you can come up with new and new things, and you can follow up. You can do a market sizing, and then you can get a report of it, right? So pretty cool thing. I think people should try it. So that's one way. Uh, one of the tools out of many different tools that you could use for ideation and validation. I just wanted to show the capabilities, uh, what is possible today. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Then how generative AI is playing a role in terms of development and prototyping. Uh, so if I look at the full workflow of development and prototyping, this would be you are doing an ideation and you do a initial design where you're creating wireframes, you're creating mock-ups, and there are different tools out there which you can take and create mock-ups. So back in the days, I would say PMs would be a bit scrappy. Maybe they'll create something on a piece of paper, on a board, and say, "This is something of my idea," and give it to engineers, give it to UI UX, and say, "This is something what I'm thinking. What do you think?" Right, and then they iterate. If you do that today, people are going to look at you with raised eyebrows because now you have AI tools. There are so many tools out there that you can use to create your ideas or showcase your ideas, showcase the design that you want, and then obviously UI UX and engineers can give it a shape in the for a production product. But as a PM now, you need to be, I would say, aware. You need to be skilled in how you can, what tools I can use or how I can use it to just give an initial understanding of the designs and create those wireframes or mockups, right? So we'll look at maybe tool that we could use there. Then content creation, you would see there's a lot of application of generative AI for content creation. So you can actually, from a product lens, not from a marketing lens, if from a product lens, I can even use generative AI to create my user stories, product descriptions, onboarding flows, all of that. And I'll probably show you one example how we can do that. So I'm just not like thinking from scratch. I can do brainstorming. I can come up with some initial ideas of what the user stories should look like or a particular feature, let's say that I'm building, and use AI for that. Once you have done the user story build as well, then you can do prototyping and testing, which will involve your building quick prototypes showcasing uh, how the product will look like. You'll run through some workflows and test user simulations or scenarios in that case, right? That's where you'll have different AI tools that you can use. And obviously, once you've done that prototyping, you're comfortable with, okay, this is how the user flow is. Then you get into heavy development, where you now turn those designs into actual code. And there are AI tools which help you in the development process as well, which is building the code, building the web or app platform that you need. And then you get into, I would say, once you have done the product, you now need to get it out to the market. You would have already understood what the target segment you want to target it to. Then you start doing personalization marketing, reach out to those target segments, and you're building campaigns for them. So you are now basically this workflow, in this entire workflow, you are using generative AI in every part of the flow. And I will look at some of the examples, what you can use. So not sure if people have heard about Miro AI. So Miro is a way, it's a, you can have a Miro board where you can have discussions with your team, you can have sticky notes, etc. I was trying like, uh, let's say I want to create user stories for developing a backend for a sign up page. That's something I was trying. Okay, how does it work? It actually gives me pretty decent ideas for my user stories. If people haven't worked in the PM space, your user stories are basically the problem you are trying to solve for what kind of user. So you are becoming their voice and you are explaining it to the engineers what you're trying to solve, right? So here, if I'm creating user stories for a backend to develop a backend for a sign up page, See, it gives me pretty decent. It says, okay, as a user, I want to create an account using my email. Yes, that's pretty common, and it has created that user story. You want to receive a confirmation, you want to reset your password, and as a user, you want to log in using email password so you can access. But then it has also thought from a developer mindset. It has said, as a developer, I want to store user credentials securely. So now it has created user stories both from a user perspective and as a developer perspective. So pretty cool, right? So this is one example where you can use it to create user stories. Right? Uh, you can use for content creation. I mean, sorry, that would be for ideation and design, but also for user stories. If you are doing basic content creation, like you want to showcase in your workflow, uh, create images, place images, things like that, you can actually use Gemini as well. So, for example, I don't know if people have used Gemini or Imagen within Gemini. Uh, so let me show you how that might look like. So this is what it is. I just created a, let's say I want to launch a cricket brand, and I can, this is an Imagen which is embedded within Gemini and uses 1.5 Flash model. I've given it a good prompt saying that I want a brand logo on for my cricket bat. It should be close up view and it should focus. Now I can download this. You know how as a PM now things will start coming together. This is how I can use to create content also, but also create content from a user story perspective, which I showed in video. Now I want to also go and showcase a lightweight app, maybe how it should look like, what a web app should look like, and I can give it to my engineer and say, this is what my idea is. So doing the prototyping, doing the testing. This is a product. I would say no code, low code products are getting really popular these days. So AppSheet is one of them. So AppSheet is a Google product, and you see you will have a lot of templates. So in here, you can go and explore templates. Let's say I want to start with an app and it gives you different templates. A basic app, let's say I want to, for myself, I want to create a new app, which is a task manager. So it's a one time and recurring task on mobile or a desktop. You see, they already have a template built. So I can copy and customize it. It's just going to copy that app. It will create a app which is something like this, and it gives you a head start, right? You can still edit and make it your own brand and things like that. But as a PM now, I do have these tools that I can use to uh, to get started and build a prototype. And this all these tools have generative AI functionality. I can describe what all things I wanted, and it helps you, right? So now I've done bit of prototyping. I can also do development. I wanted to show there's another tool called Flutterflow. So this is another way I can you create an app and start development. So I was again creating a cricket league management app. I was trying that. It has given me the starting point. Now I have all these through AI, and it also have a generative AI component where I can move stuff. I can sketch it, all of that, and basically what I'm doing is I'm building an app at my end without any engineer involved. And all of these have components of AI. And then I can do some marketing, etc. as well using all AI as well. So there are all these tools out there which helps you now in development. And then iteration and personalization, it maps a lot with launch and iteration. So I would say we can cover it here. So once you have design, you get into development. And when you're doing development, you would see a lot of the coding platforms, IDEs today have generative AI built within it. So as a PM also, I can, if I'm say building a model that I want to showcase or I want to use in my product, I can go to Colab. I can even write code. Let's say I'm writing a code to build a linear regression model. See, it has right away generated a code. Now I don't need, obviously it's not a sophisticated one, but I just to get started, I don't need all the data science skills, right? If I'm a PM, right, who doesn't have that experience, with all these generative AI techniques, I can still do stuff that I need, get it in a shape where it's a good prototype, and then take help of professional, let's say AI engineers, etc., to start building my product. So now the role that I'm playing is very different. It's not like I just want to write a document, give it to you, and then you build it. That's no longer a PM role now. Obviously, you build a product requirements document, which we call PRD, but you use all these tools at your disposal with the help of AI uh, to get ahead and get started and give better information to your engineers. Once you have done that, obviously the time comes then for launching your product, and then you iterate on the product. So within launch and marketing, as you could use Canva, so and you could also use Google Ads, etc. When you're generating ads. So Canva has really cool features as well, Magic Write, where you can actually do a, you know, the the logos, etc., whatever you want to create from a marketing perspective. You can have any design that I want to create. You can use AI, what I would like to create. So now I can, even working with the marketing team, I can give them some idea of what I want to do by using these apps and generative AI. Right. So launching and marketing, so I can generate tailored content, marketing, emails, etc., all with the help of AI tools, Gemini, Canva, etc. And then I can customize my. Then you get into user onboarding experiences. You create the flows. You on the user behavior. You showcase how it's going to be used. Um, all of that will come under onboarding. How you want to onboard the users. Once you have the users using it, you want to also have a way to get feedback. So if you look at any GenAI tool that we use, you have a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a provide feedback button, and then you want to use that uh, uh, into your development mechanism or improvement mechanism. So you need to have an AI-driven feedback loop where you are collecting and analyzing user feedback in real time, and based on that, you're taking actionable insights. For example, if a user is facing issues, you are proactive in identifying, okay, what kind of issue would that be? What was the user facing, rather than user having to submit it. So taking that proactive approach to getting the feedback. Then you get into A/B testing. That's where AI can help a lot. A/B testing at scale means you're automating. A/B testing means you have a control group, you have a test group. So you are feed, publishing something to the test group, but not to the control group, and you see if it's effective or not, right? So there are ways to run A/B testing at scale using AI now, and there are tools, for example, Optimizely, that that I've seen industry use a lot. Then obviously predictive iteration, you're analyzing a performance. Again, you can use conversation analytics, studio, etc., where you are understanding the data, you are doing prediction, you are trying to understand where the user behavior is going, understanding the product performance, and you're forecasting, right? So this entire phase, again, there are multiple tools that you use, but I just want to showcase where AI has already started making an impact in all these workflows. Okay. I know we I was rushing through the last one, just considering time. I wanted to give some time for Q&A. But you see how AI is playing critical role in every aspect of PM. And if you want to stay ahead as PM, you have to adapt to the new world, and just get ahead by using these tools for your own advantage. And I showed some of the tools, Notebook LM also being one of it, which I think you should use in trying to learn, as PMs learn a lot from the market, and they go through a lot of announcements, they go through a lot of understand the competition as well. So that's where you could use Notebook LM as well to understand what is being talked about in the market and learn from it. Okay, I'll take a pause. Maybe we can, if there are any questions, we can open it for that. But
Yeah, Rishabh.
that's it from
Thank
my
you so much. There are a couple of questions in the chat. If you could just help address those, please.
sure.
Thank you.
So one of the question I see is how technically skilled should a product manager be to effectively communicate and collaborate with development teams? I think that also varies from the organization to organization. But if you ask me, I think even if you're not coding or building yourself day in day out as an engineer, you need to have a good understanding of the overall system design architecture, learn bit about coding, some of the challenges in coding as well. An intermediate, or even I would say beginner in terms of coding, but an intermediate in terms of design or system design. I think that should be there because you talk with engineers basically on the design, how it should work, how it will not work. It requires deep technical expertise. Let's say authentication, security, networking, all of these aspects are going to come for your product. And we are not like champion of all of these, technologies. But knowing enough that you understand the engineer language from engineers and you're able to have good conversation, and they're going to come up to you with challenges. Hey, this cannot be done because of this challenge. What? And then I say, okay, I don't even understand. And I say, okay, cannot be done. But you need to find solutions also as a PM. How would you find solutions if you don't even understand the problem? So that's where I think it's critical that PMs invest in themselves to learn about technology and be technical. As I said, even if you're not coding, understand the system, understand the architecture. That should be the priority. Next question is query language. Is familiarity with query language like SQL, MongoDB an added advantage? Definitely. Definitely. Every PM role is a data driven role today. Uh, and you don't have, as I said, not every organization is going to have like analysts with you always or data scientists with you always saying that, okay, you have someone who's going to help you whenever you need data. Might make data available to you, but you should be able to pull the right insights, be able to write queries, be able to put quick dashboards, maybe in some cases also quickly build a forecast model, right? So I think it's important for PMs to learn at least basic SQL so that they're able to pull the information from the data assets. Uh, and it's an added advantage. I would say every PM that the organizations are now looking for, and that's how you can be compete in the market and showcase your added advantages that these tools, you're technical savvy, you tech savvy, data savvy, that you can pull your own analysis, get good with analysis, you know the right questions to ask. Uh, right. Next question is additional knowledge areas. What other skills or knowledge areas should a competent product manager ideally possess to excel in their role? Uh, I think I covered a lot of the skills already. And when I say knowledge areas could be dependent on the domain that you are a PM in, right? So if I am a PM for a retail giant, I think having a really good knowledge in the operations or in the work of retail definitely gives me an added advantage, right? People sometimes specialize. There are PMs for healthcare. They really understand the healthcare really well. So from a domain expertise, that's a knowledge area that you can bring in. Uh, and it's always good if when you're getting into a PM role, just to have a really good understanding of that domain, understand the market. And I've covered all of that. From a technical perspective, I think what are the new, Gen AI is changing every day so much with new and new models. I don't know if you heard Gemini 2.0 released yesterday. So what you think could be a challenge today in terms of implementation of technology might not be there tomorrow, right? So I think it's important for a PM to be, which I covered initially, was to be visionary and be very, I call it like dreamy, because you can dream about, like, imagine the best on an ideal world, what should happen, right? I don't even have to open my calendar and say to Gemini, can I just call it and say, just do this for me? Or it understands that when I'm talking to someone and I have said, okay, I will be creating an invite, I'll be meeting with these people, it automatically picks that up and does that for me and asks me, right? That's something maybe I am being dreamy right now, but it could be possible pretty soon. So as a PM, you need to have that visionary skills as well and understand what could be, how technology could shape our world. So I think, yeah, additional knowledge areas would be domain expertise and just knowing more about AI, new and new, new and new advancements in AI and in architecture of generative AI specifically. There are techniques now, and agentic AI is what is getting adopted a lot. So as new technologies come, I think bracing yourself and then just having the curiosity to learn about it and then thinking how it can be used to solve my customer problem is what the basic thing would be. Okay, I think I covered those three questions.
Thank
Let
you,
me know if
Rishabh.
there are more.
Yeah, in case there are a few more questions that you would like Rishabh to address, please share them in the chat. All right, before we conclude, I kindly ask everyone to take a moment to complete the feedback form shared in the chat. Your feedback is invaluable in helping us enhance our future sessions. And I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Rishabh for delivering such an informative and engaging session today. And I trust that all of you found the insights as valuable as I did. For those who missed any part of this session or wish to revisit the material for today's session, our recording will be available on DataCloud's YouTube channel. The link to the recording will be shared on our social media channels and in our monthly newsletter. If you have any further questions or would like to explore additional resources, please feel free to reach out to us at hello@datacouch.io. To stay updated on our upcoming sessions and access more valuable content, please subscribe to our social media channels and join our meetup groups. The relevant links are available in the chat. Thank you so much for your participation today. We look forward to welcoming you all at our next event. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day and a great weekend. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.